Do we need to get you some no-dos or some?
No. Let's see.
What's that stuff we used
Oh
to
my God,
Jolt? Do I need to get you some Jolt?
Jolt,
Cola?
all the sugar, twice the caffeine.
Just like our podcast. Yeah, let's go.
On the button, all the sugar, twice the caffeine.
I love it. That's our new tagline. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers of all ages, welcome into episode 5 of the On the Button podcast. We are here, of course, as we do every other week, to talk about Star Wars Unlimited and all the various things and bits that go along with that. Ian, Trey, how's it going, fellas?
Well, You said your words, and in my head, I'm playing along with you in my head. But I filled in Star Wars Destiny, so that's how it's going tonight.
I can't help you there because that's literally not what I said.
That's not at all what you said, but that was what my brain predicted you were going to say. So let me take some more caffeine.
Yes, do that. Ian,
we'll give that a moment to work.
Let's start with you then, while Trey caffeinates.
I'm doing great. I had a date night with the wife tonight. We saw Thunderbolts. Not bad. Really cool end credit scene.
I was going to say,
movie was okay.
No spoilers, but you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did.
Excellent.
I did check my watch at about the 2-hour mark.
So, without devolving too deeply away from Star Wars, not Destiny Unlimited, that the advertising for that movie is so sad because I don't remember the actor's name, but the guy that's in Stranger Things,
David Barbour.
Yeah, sure, him. That guy. I listen to a bunch of podcasts. I think I mentioned that before, and I get commercial breaks in these podcasts. And there's I keep getting his commercial of him literally just begging us to go see the movie. It's like he starts with, "I'm sorry I didn't mean to take all your time. We promise this movie is good. Please go see it. It's got heart. It's got this. It's sad."
I'm not surprised, though. I think Marvel has a lot of sins to make up for the last few years, and so they're. I feel like the sense of them is that they can get people into the theater, they'll enjoy it, but the trick is you got to convince them to go because they've been getting burned by Marvel, and now they're kind of not okay with it. So we'll see.
Let the franchise that is without sin cast the first stone.
I know,
because
right?
We're here to talk about Star Wars, which
exactly
is
right.
As somebody who's seen it, I would tell you that it's totally worth a matinee price this time.
Okay.
Like if you paid a matinee price, you would not feel burned afterwards.
Okay.
If you paid an IMAX, and maybe an IMAX price might burn you.
Very few films will get me to go to an IMAX price.
Yeah, but a matinee price, totally worth it.
Okay.
Pretty good film.
Okay, awesome.
Not near as good as Sinners, though.
Well,
if you haven't seen that movie, that's a good one.
Okay, all right. Well, gentlemen, last time we talked at the end of the podcast about Twin Sons. I think we need to talk about it at the beginning of the podcast this time because we recently, in the last 10 days or so, played in a little local Twin Sons tournament event. One of our local TOs, Jason, has been trying to come up with a way to score and thus rank players in a Twin Sons format, for like a competitive format, so he can use it for like a store showdown. Of course, there is no official scoring methodology for Twin Sons. It is purely a casual thing. So, you've got a puppy dog going on.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I think I got to let him out real quick.
Okay.
Okay, so Twin Sons tournament.
Yeah.
I won the whole thing. Nobody cares. Wes, tell us all about your experience at the Twin Sons tournament.
You literally do not want my opinion of Twin Sons.
Oh,
right
we
now.
all want to. I want to sit at the feet and listen. Tell me all about it, Wes.
You really don't.
Unload on us.
You really
Ian and I were talking before you got on the call about how excited we are to hear how your day went.
So,
can I ask a question before your rant, though? Have you ever sat down and played blackjack at a table before?
Once in my life, only once.
Okay.
And this is going to, as a Vegas veteran, will roll your eyes and cry a little bit at this story. Okay, this was on a cruise ship. I was literally sitting next to a buddy of mine who took me to the casino. I've never actually gambled in a casino up until this moment in my life, and he's talked me through kind of blackjack. It's only the two of us at this table, right? And so we weren't bothering anybody else, and the dealer was super patient and super awesome. And I went in with $20, and I think I walked away with nothing, which was fine. I expected to lose it. I had a good experience, but it was very clear to me, it was very obvious how a newbie like me could really disrupt the groove of the experienced blackjack player. Like if I'd gone to a
Yep.
casino in Vegas like that, people after about 3 hands, people would have been like, I am effing out of here and just noped off to a different table. Not with this loser on the table, right?
Isn't that what you saying about people at the Twin Sons tournament?
No, it wasn't quite that bad.
At the
So,
table?
okay, so you have to understand that what colors my opinion of Twin Sons is where I come from in a multiplayer CCG, TCG world, okay? I have played, I can't even begin to count how many hours of the old Precedence Babylon 5 CCG, starting back in like 97 through that game's end in 2001 and beyond, right? I used to play every year at Dragon Con, even up into like 2014. We do usually organize a game at Dragon Con every year. And so I've played a lot of 4-player CCG. B5 was designed for 4. You could play it more, but it was best at 4 players. Some things that I liked that I didn't like about Twin Sons, I realized were because they were so radically different from Babylon 5, right? In B5, every player at the table is always in the game until the game literally is over. You do that little victory check at the end, right? Twin Sons functions very differently. Somebody gets gangbanged and gets put out, and then the other 3 people finish the game. Whereas everybody else, so the 3 people get to keep playing while one guy goes, all right, it's lunchtime or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's only one turn. It is so much better than the other games like this, like Commander, where it's down to somebody gets knocked out and then they're done for like the next hour, and then you wait because it goes down to
Unless
the last
it's
person
literally the last turn of the game and you don't get to act because you're dead before it becomes your turn. So then you die. This happened to me my very first Twin Sons game. Okay, I went into the final round with, I think I had 12 or 13 health on my base, something like this. Okay. I was the lowest. The guy who had taken initiative hit me for 10 as his first action. I'm last in the round. I'm acting last. The guy across from me, so we're, and so it's like, I'm looking at him going, do you enjoy losing? He's like, what? If I don't do it, and I'm just like, oh my God. So of course the very next person just puts me out of the game. There we go. I'm over.
Yeah.
I packed up my stuff, walked away. They
You got teed up.
They played 10 more minutes. And I'm like, and of
Yeah.
course the guy who destroyed me and basically put me on the verge of death finished third, which is honestly where he should have finished, frankly. But it was just like, what in the hell is this format? And so again, I come from a world where everyone is available to keep playing until the very last moment of the very last round in a 4-player game. I come from a world where you generally don't tee somebody up to get murdered, right? And
I think you're overthinking that, man. I don't think he teed you up to get murdered. I think so. One of the things that I've had to come to recognize about playing multiplayer games is that I go in and I can like see what the correct play is for everybody, and I feel like you did the same. But there are a number, and you have to account for this if you want to play and do well. Is you just got to account for the guy who comes in like the Joker from The Dark Knight Returns. Just do I look like a guy who has a plan?
So this is
you ran smack dab into that.
What I've realized, right, talking to you, talking to Ian and other people afterwards, is that in order to enjoy Twin Sons, you have to take your competitive brain and turn it off and put it in a little box and forget it exists and just go in like Ian and just be an agent of chaos. Because
See, I had a good time.
Hold on a minute. I'm not done ranting yet. You'll get your turn in a minute.
Go. Yeah.
And because
because
like you're saying, right? When I'm at a table of 4 players, I'm looking around going, I'm always trying to think through, okay, what is the best action for me in the moment to put me in the best position to win in a turn or in 2 turns or whatever. Around, like, going around the table, everybody getting an act. Especially as the game gets late and you can see this is coming. Clearly, not everybody's brain is wired that way. And I struggle with this, right? Years and years ago, I've told this story before to other people. I quit playing Risk because I nearly came to blows with someone, a family member, right? Literally a family member over a game of Risk because his attitude to Risk was, I'm going to attack over here. He had no, like you said, he had no plan. It was just like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And, and it was like, rather than let's go beat up on the leader, it was like, I'm just going to beat up on the guy next to me because I feel like it. Like I rolled a die in my head and you lost. Congratulations. And it was like, wait, what is happening? And literally Twin Sons felt that way to me. And I was not prepared for it. I'm probably still going to struggle with it the next half dozen games of it I play. So, but yeah,
But they won't be
was
competitive. Like if when we get around to playing a game, I'm not going to bring the deck that I won
well,
with, and so it'll be less, more
right.
pretzels, less money on the line.
But I'll tell you straight up, I will never like. I know Jason really wants to make this a store showdown event. Good, more power to him, but I won't play in it. Okay, I will not attempt to play competitive Twin Suns because there are very clearly going to be people in the room who's are just not ready to do that mental calculus, right? And
Agent of Chaos.
And
Well,
I will not react well to it. I will lose my mind at
Milk.
somebody, and that's not fair to them.
so I'm
I
gonna
like your
defend-
future tense on that.
I will.
Lose your mind.
It'll
to
happen,
it.
Trey, and it's not.
Oh, it's already
not fair
happened.
No, because no, it didn't. I
I
got,
did a little, dude.
I did not yell at anyone. I struck no one.
No.
Believe me, there was a desire to, but it did not occur. And I know that in order to prevent that from occurring, I simply will not put myself in that position again.
That's one of the things, though, Wes, that I love about Twin Suns, right? As somebody who's been playing it since set 1, and this is my first TCG, I've made so many bad plays in just standard games. But when you make a bad play in Twin Suns, how it dominoes the board is very fun to watch at times.
Just the grenade of a
Just,
poorly
yeah.
thought out play.
So
yeah, where you think you're gonna win, like somebody thinks they're gonna win, and then bam, they're last place. Like
so then you've got me on one end of the spectrum. On the other end of the spectrum, you've got Trey, who over 2 complete rounds of 4-player games lost a total of 11 health, which made me go,
Well,
what in the hell was everybody at your table doing, Trey?
yeah, I don't know.
Exactly.
You and I weren't
No one
sitting there
knows.
to. You and I
know
weren't sitting
exactly
there.
what happened because I manipulated it all. I orchestrated every single thing that happened across all 4 players in every game.
So, yeah, there you go.
I built a deck that made it unfun to attack me, and it made it feel futile to attack me. So nobody wanted to hit me and then have me gain some life back. It just was made more sense, and like even for the chaos players, they were like, well, I could just attack him, but it's not going to do anything, and that's not fun. I'll go after somebody else instead.
Yeah.
I had a weird experience in my 2 games where I was openly targeted in both games, which was totally new for me. Because I mean, obviously as I get better at playing the game, I'm no longer a pushover anymore, I don't believe. So I was surprised that like my sentinel units were getting attacked where they weren't killing my sentinel unit, they were just hitting it down so the next player could take out the sentinel unit. So it was very, very strange and very different, and it made me actually come home and I've retooled my whole deck. Like every bit of it. I've changed leaders, I've changed a bunch of cards. Like I retooled the whole thing to just have a more like I wouldn't say like more competitive. I don't know if the other deck is more competitive or not. The other deck was designed to steal wins at the end. But if you've already got 26 health on your base and you're going into the next round, you're not stealing a win. You're just stealing third place. You're stealing third place, right? So in one game, I just stole third place. I was like, I'm not doing another phase of just getting beat down. I'm ending this right now. I'm playing my Grand Inquisitor. I'm taking out somebody, and I forced a tie for first place. But like, I found some really fun cards to play, though. In the Heat of Battle is one of the coolest Twin Suns card.
I'm putting that in my deck
now.
It's a card that says every unit this phase loses Saboteur and gains Sentinel. So every unit on the board has Sentinel, and every card you play out of your hand has Sentinel. Now, when I played
Screeching halt. The game comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah, a screeching halt. I had 4 health left on my base in the second game. I took initiative, and my only goal was to play that card at the top of the face. I had the other card I had in my hand was unplayable. 2. Yeah, it costs 2. That was it.
So many of these cards are like, I'm going to spend 5 to do that. No, this one costs 2. So you can still do stuff. Oh, that's fun.
I have this mental image, Ian, of you with a hand grenade in your hand. You yank the pin out with your teeth, turn around, flip the board off, and throw it over your shoulder as you walk off.
That was it. Like, I had nothing else to play after that. I just dropped it down and basically said, well, whoever can figure out how to kill me best is going to win. Good luck. Figure it out. Like, I'm just going to drink a Coke, go watch the other games, call it a day.
That's actually
But,
kind of
you had an interesting political situation come up where you thought one thing and it turned out to not be. Ian, isn't that what you said? You thought you had colluded with somebody, like the wink wink nod nod.
So this was a Twin Sons game I played a couple of maybe a couple months ago.
This
it wasn't this time.
This is just
this wasn't the turn. This is just a Twin Sun game. But I played a game with Richard where I thought he and I had an understanding that we could tee somebody up and take them down. And what happened was the complete opposite. What happened was Richard saw that with a couple attacks, I could get teed up and lose the game. So I thought we had an understanding of, hey, we're going to take out this player because they're going to be very easy to take out. They have no sentinel units. We can get them there this phase, figure it out. At the end, no, it was the opposite way. I was completely annihilated by Richard and that other player. So sometimes you think it's going one way and it's not going another. So I don't know. I find it really fun because of the chaos, I guess. But that's what I love about building decks too. So
I also made some changes to my decks, right? I realized that ramp cards were basically not really valuable.
You're not ramping to anything.
You're not really ramping into anything. I realized that I needed upgrade removal that I didn't have in the deck, right? Because I got absolutely screwed back-to-back games by the same player by Traitorous. Yay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Steel is huge in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a big deal.
That's what I retooled around Sentinel. Every unit I'm playing now is Sentinel. Every single one.
Yeah.
I don't have a non-Sentinel unit. I'm playing a lot of removal. I'm playing a lot of what I call with chaos cards, and I'm playing a ton of steel. Yeah. I'm playing every steel card in the game.
Yeah. So
that's kind of how I'm going to try.
Sorry, Trey, I kind of cut you off there. What were you going to say?
You did, and I'm trying to remember what I was going to say, and I don't remember it at all.
I apologize.
More Coke.
I really wanted to play a different deck, but Jason put money on the line, and so I'm like, well, I'm just going to take the one that I know does really well. I had a wedge deck built that was going to be fun, but
okay,
I don't know if that's going to be good. I'm going to bundle up like multiple cards onto one so that somebody can just blow me out. No, I'm just going to win the game.
Anyways, I'm just
going to scream in a minute. We'll be on to some other topic and be like, this thing about Twin Sons.
I will play Twin Sons again, right? I will try it again. But you're right. My initial opinion of the format was bad, and some of that is my fault because I went into it not mentally calibrated correctly, I think.
I think one of your issues is that when you played, you said you came from Babylon 5, but I think you also played with people that were on par with you, like as far as what they wanted out of the game. And so you're playing and you've got your strategies that you're doing to try and win, but they're basically all just 3 copies of you that are doing the same thing, and nobody's just lobbing chaos grenades, which is it's a valid way to play. Like, people just like to go in and lob chaos grenades. You just have to learn to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna struggle with that one for a while. We'll just leave it at
that. I've been there. I have been there. I know how that feels.
Yeah. Well, guys,
that's what I was gonna say. No, I remember. I'm on the screen now.
Good. Bring it.
So this is one of the things that helped. I think this is one of the things that led to me doing well as well. Is we talked about this before when we talked about Twin Sons, and I talked about my strategy goes beyond just the one game that I'm playing in, and it's establishing the reputation that if you do dumb stuff to me, if you throw your chaos grenade at me, I'm going to make your game not fun. And so I think that helped. So like you just gotta play some more times, and then when somebody makes the one dumb move, and you just gotta throw it at your win out the door and just pile on them and try to kill them, and then you establish that reputation.
Well, looking back, I also made some other, I won't say play errors, but I'll say choices, right? Because, having watched you guys play Twin Sons and having watched various videos of it, it was always seemed to be about kind of trying to balance everyone kind of losing health at an even rate, because as soon as somebody sped up a little too much, they kind of got dogpiled, right? And
there's an interesting caveat to that before you go on.
Okay.
There's an interesting caveat to that is that if you get so far ahead, nobody thinks they can catch you, then it becomes everybody racing for second place, especially when there's like points on the line and you're getting 3, 2, 1 or no points. When you can get like a partial win by getting second, if somebody gets far enough ahead, everybody else will just chuck out and be like, I can't win, but I'm going to go for the 2 points. And then the guy that, if you put yourself in the position to be that far ahead, then you just basically the game, they just give you the 3 points so that they can fight over the 2 points.
I had a moment in the second game where basically everybody else was done and I had 9 damage I could still shell out. This was maybe round 3 or 4. It was still relatively early in the game. And I could have just picked the guy who was the lowest and just said, I'm going to kick you in the teeth even harder. And I didn't do that. And I'm realizing I should have, right? Like looking back on it, I probably should have. And just set myself up, especially knowing where initiative was coming in the next round. Some of it is training my brain to look at that, look at things that way, right? So some of it's lack of experience on my part, and I accept that. But yes, some of it is my competitive brain does not handle the chaos well. So anyway,
and at our locals right now, we have a lot of really new players too. Mm-hmm. People that have only been around for maybe 2 or 1 set.
Yeah.
So the chaos playing in Twin Suns was really fun to watch. Like, that was a weird play. Like that didn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. But okay, let's see what happens. Like, I don't know. Okay. That's what I find really fun about Twin Suns.
Well, we are only a few days now downstream of the big sector qualifier in Richmond, our first big event, I say globally, basically, for the game. Since the Django ban several weeks ago, this was the largest Star Wars Unlimited competitive event to date, just shy of 600 players kicked off.
598.
Exactly. Just shy of 600. Nuts. Kicked off the day in Richmond on Saturday morning. And at the end of it all, hours and hours of play, thousands of games, ladies and gentlemen. It turns out all we needed was set 1 to lock it up, as Sabine walked away with the whole thing.
Sabine ECL. Go back
my arch nemesis, Miss Sabine.
My old friend.
Man, now, this was... Looking at the top 8 of this is I don't think I've played other games before. I played Destiny, I played Magic. I don't think I've ever seen a competitive metagame this diverse.
It's nice.
Which is super, super cool. Like,
yeah.
And not just the leaders. Like, you got 6 different leaders. So we got to double up twice. But even like just as colors, like it's not a perfect split of colors, but of the, 16 possible colors, it's like 5 red, 6 yellow, 3 green, and 2 blue. So like every color is represented more than once. It's very exciting.
Definitely a lot of variety up there. And I didn't look, but I think it was even sort of semi-balanced villain and hero as well, right? We had 2 Quinlans, a Sabine. You had I don't
6-2
remember now. 6-2. It was mostly hero, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. You've got a Kira and a Cad coming in 6 and 7.
1 Kira, 1 Cad. Yeah.
Villain.
That unfortunately does not surprise me. The strongest decks I think right now are all on the hero side of the coin, which makes my inner villainous self very sad. But there were some really interesting villain decks in the field that performed very well.
Did you watch the coverage?
I watched some of it. I participated in a little bit of it. I got to call a couple of rounds with Loopy and the Late Night Gaming crowd. Round 3 and round 9 of Swiss sounds correct. I basically did a couple of early rounds each morning before I had to go do other things. And then Sunday I got to watch almost all of it because I sat down in the studio working on Stream Deck programming and other stuff for my tournament casting setup, and I just had it on the big monitor. So, yeah, a lot of really interesting, really well-played matches, really interesting
So what
matches.
are some of the ones you saw? What's one or two of the ones you saw that was really cool?
The very first, when we cast round 3, it was the deck. One of the decks was a Han 2, so red Han from set 2 with Data Vault. So red green Han. Now I've seen a little bit of that back when I cast the Mobile PQ in February. You remember Eric, who was here last summer? You taught him the game, Trey.
Eric Oakley.
Okay.
Yeah, disc player.
Correct.
Disc golf.
Eric was in Mobile, and he was on that day. He was on red Han, ECL, and took it to the top 4 that day. So I've seen that deck a little bit, but this was Han 2 Data Vault. And so it was a very different deck. It wasn't really built as to be a speedy. It was much more on the top end. He had 3 crates in this deck, for example. And in one game, he played all 3 crates in that game.
Oh.
Yeah,
cow.
They kept getting murdered. In fact,
I mean, it didn't make top 8, so it's trash. But continue.
We got to watch No Disintegration almost murder one of the crates, which
that's the take it down to 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For 1 cost, I think
three
too.
Three costs. It's a 3 cost of
3 costs. That's not bad.
But it's still really just fun to see all these interactions. Fun to see that particular deck. A lot of great plays, and so that was an interesting one to see. That was Crispy from the Bothan Network guys. We got to see George Hudson, who was kind of got known several sets ago for taking Hondo Blue to the top end of a couple of PQs way back in the fall. He was on old Vader, like Vader from set 1 Data Vault. And he was the one that walked away with the Vader showcase that particular day.
Ooh.
So he's done a little bit of video work explaining his deck choices. That was interesting. They kind of interviewed him on the stream. Just all kinds of stuff. One of my favorite decks that I didn't even know was in the field until to this morning. One of the guys, there was a Mace double red who made day 2, who finished, I think, 45th. And he did a beautiful video of the breakdown of his deck that I watched on YouTube today. And I was like, I'm building this. This looks like fun.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it was really neat. And then somebody took Kylo, Kylo Tarkin Town to 21st. Right. So yeah. So there was such a great variety. The game, I think, is in a really good place now when you can take the crazy leaders and just shove them to the side. Now, obviously certain things rise to the top, right? But still a lot of decks out there winning games and showing up and surprising people with things they didn't expect to see in the field.
Yeah, so there's nobody's able to angle shoot and figure out what the metagame is and then attack that, because the metagame is just every deck is good and you can play any deck. So you just got to bring a deck that is good in a vacuum by itself, can stand on its own.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really enjoyed working with the caster team in the background was we're building a lot more tools to help filter through the data, right? You're able to go into Melee and at the start of the day, you can download a CSV file, full of data of sets, leaders, all this sort of thing, and then plug that into a back-end spreadsheet that somebody's built, and then bam, you'll get percentages of the field for every leader base combination, all this kind of stuff. He'll generate charts, and we're going to have those. We should have those available. PQ season starts literally this weekend, and those are going to be available for people that want to have them during their streams and their coverage, and it's going to be really nice. I know we're trying to get those links spread around. We talked a little bit about the rare bases out of this last set being a much bigger impact than the ones out of set.
Yeah. The rare bases are good.
Oh, I was just gonna say, since this is the first time I've seen him played that heavy since the set 1 bases. It's really nice to see. Yep.
Data Vault.
Since that era of dominant Jeddah City, that one. Remember that?
Data Vault was massive, but Colossus also making a splash, both with Anakin and Piet, 2 radically different decks, and Palpatine, right? But still, that 35-point base still attractive to some folks. Now, I think with Quinlan as popular as he is and all the discard, you're going to see people shy away from Colossus for a while. But once Quinlan rotates out, Colossus is going to come back. I can almost guarantee it.
All right, so quick question before we move on to something else. You have a hypothetical. You have a tournament tomorrow. What are you taking? You want to do well. You're not throwing chaos grenades.
I'm going to take that Mace Red deck. I'll tell you straight up.
With no playtesting? You're just going to take it as is?
I'm just going to take it and go play it. That's what I did last weekend. I had a store showdown, west side of town. They did a little quick and dirty thing, a bunch of best of ones, and a cut to top 4. I took Phasma, right? Phasma's not a great deck. I didn't care. I wanted to play Phasma, so I just went and played Phasma, and I think I was 5th. I got my Devastator. I opened a pack with a couple of Jedi Lukes in it, called it a night. That was a great night.
No, a couple of Jedi Lukes.
A plane and a hyperspace in the same pack, back to back.
OG Legendary Luke?
OG Legendary Jedi Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight.
Walk away. Did you go buy a lottery ticket afterwards?
Should have.
Didn't need one. I would probably take my Piet Red. It's probably what I'm playing best right now.
Nice.
I can take I'm taking games off of Sabine and Han on Karabas, so there are paths to victory. They're slim against Sabine. I've got to draw a lot of my Sentinel that I have in it early. But other than that, that's probably what I take.
What about you, Trey?
It's more.
See, I don't know. I've got one deck that
You
I'm playing
never
on
know.
Carabas. No, I've got one deck I'm playing on Carabas that's like hyper aggressive with Poe, and it's just winning everything that I can throw it against it. It's faster than Sabine, and like, I don't know. It's just winning everything on Carabas. But I don't think it would be that good in a tournament. But then when we go play on Tuesday night, I've got this stupid Count Dooku yellow deck that is so much fun to play,
That thing's
and I
really
still
good.
win nearly all of them.
That thing's
But
pretty
then
good.
I've got like, if there was a big money on the line, I'd probably just take Emperor Blue because I feel like that's the one that I would win with.
Okay.
So OG Emperor Colossus.
OG. Okay. Interesting.
If I had to build a meta deck, I'd probably play Quinlan though.
But there is no meta.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm saying like I think Quinlan's pretty great deck.
but
I mean that's
but to
pretty
your,
great right now.
But to your point, Trey, then if there isn't one, what do? You take a deck that's good into lots of things, and Quinlan is good into lots of things.
Yeah.
Sure.
There you go. Same way to Sabine. Sabine is good into lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
Does she have bad matchups? Yeah, sure. But she's good into a lot of the field, so that's not a bad deck to play.
They're both still at the end of the day aggro decks, and if the aggro decks pop, I mean, there's nothing you can do. Like you're just dead before you can do anything.
Sometimes.
So, what's next?
Well, you might have noticed it's spoiler season. We're only technically about 10 weeks from the next set, and FFG likes to spoil 2 liters a week, which means...
Shut your lying mouth. We are not 10 weeks away from the next set.
Sir. Yes, sir, you are. Yes, sir, you are.
Wow.
So,
Man, I need to start saving them dollars.
So, yeah, start putting your pennies away, boys. And that means that if we're going to spoil 2 liters a week right up to getting close to release, we're going to see 2 new liters a week. And, of course, this week we have seen our 2. They spoiled Third Sister and new Obi-Wan Kenobi. Of course, Third Sister, aggro villain, big fan of this card, really leaning heavily on the new hidden mechanic on her front side. She can just exhaust herself to play a unit and give it hidden for the round, meaning your opponent cannot attack it. I love this ability. And then when she deploys, she's hidden herself. So she cannot be attacked the round that she chooses to enter the board.
There's a really interesting Inquisitor. So we're going with Force stuff, and you would think that it would be like heavy Sith, like the aggressive, angry stuff. But all the stuff we're seeing so far is Inquisitors. The one of the things that I saw her and immediately thought about, because Twin Sons, I thought about Twin Sons, and even though I want to play like Don't Attack Me Ever, the idea of pairing Third Sister with Grand Inquisitor and Twin Sons and just making a hyper aggressive deck that I can throw something down and ready something and you can't do anything about it, so I'm just going to crush you with it. That's pretty fun. That sounds like fun. I don't know if it would win, but it sounds like fun. It'd be worth playing.
You're speaking Ian's language, right? I know
Yeah.
you thought about it.
Yeah, definitely. I only looked at the cards a couple hours ago, to be honest. I try to avoid the spoilers as best I can.
Okay.
So you just want to go into that weekend cold, like the opening weekend. You want to go into completely cold.
Yeah, kinda. I found it really fun with the last 2 sets.
Okay.
Like I paid attention to a lot of the spoilers for Shadows, and was super hyped for it. And then when the cards actually came out, they felt kind of duddy. So I very much enjoyed, like, Twilight's not considered like a fantastic set. I really enjoyed playing the pre-release on it and stuff because I didn't know anything about the cards. So it was really fun to like see all the different cards and play them all. Yeah. And then like Jump to Lightspeed, I didn't know anything, and I had a ball doing all the pre-releases. So yeah, I think I'm going to try to stick with that method.
I'm a little bit hybrid of that because I won't go build or do anything until I have the whole set and the cards in my head. I won't get to be like, oh, I'm going to build this deck. Well, you don't know most of the cards coming out. So, but I will at least read them and then promptly forget them.
I like seeing the spoilers, but I never judge the card completely because you can't judge it in a vacuum, right? You can't judge this. You got to be able to see what else is in the set before you can go, oh, this card is good, or oh, man, I wish they'd given it more, right? There's a whole bunch of people on YouTube, right, that they talk about spoilers and they try to tell you this card is amazing or this card's crap, and I'm like, I mean, maybe you're right, but you're probably wrong about half the time. I mean, and the other thing is that, you know, you don't. many times, right, people have been super hyped for spoilers. They hear spoilers. This card's going to be amazing, and that's the last time you ever hear about it. And then, like, I remember seeing somebody in one of the Discords I was in was talking about this week, right, especially after Richmond, when Data Vault was spoiled, right? Almost everybody was like, this card is crap. Well, nobody feels that way now, do they?
Nope.
Exactly.
I never felt that way. I always liked the card.
Fair enough, but
See?
a lot of people did. A lot of people didn't feel that way. So,
Dummies.
there you go.
One of the cards that I think is fun, Plo Koon, and I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad, but I love that Order 66 just pisses Plo Koon off. He's a 6/8, and then if you have the Force and they play Order 66, it does 6 damage. So he's like a 6/8 with 6 damage on him. But now he has grit, so he's just smashing you for 12. Oh, I love the thematic part of that. That's fun.
Yeah, he's one of those rare Jedi units that Order 66 doesn't just outright murder.
Yeah.
The other leader spoiled this week, a new Obi-Wan in Command in Green Hero. A lot of folks are kind of underwhelmed by this card. He basically
flip.
Well, he comes out on 5, which is honestly, I think, kind of the regular standard for what most people consider to be a good leader these days.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if you talk about 6+, people start to get a little dodgy. Like, I don't know. Of course, he allows you to use, once you have a Force token, you can use his ability on the front side, exhaust him, give an experience token out. Unlike Rey, that experience token can go to any unit, just any unit you feel like. And then when he flips, he comes out as a 3/6, and he gets the same ability on attack, except now he doesn't need to use the Force for it. It's just when he attacks, he hands out an experience token to a different unit. He cannot give it to himself.
Or a unit with an experience token already on it.
Does it have to say? I didn't look. Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
With
They can't.
And you lose the Force, so you'd have to gain the Force back as well.
Oh, hold on. His flip side says, no, it just says you may give an experience token to another unit without an experience token on it. So once you flip him, the Force token doesn't matter. You don't need it to use his flip side. All right, guys, sorry about that. Little technical difficulties, so we had a small break. We're going to restart here. Trey, we were talking about Obi-Wan, the leader. You had thoughts to share. Now that you've got your mic working, go ahead.
Oh, all my thoughts have been spilled out, and they have filled the air in my room that I'm in. You guys didn't hear them, and it was wisdom, and I have built the decks, and I can win tournaments with him now, but I can't share that anymore. It's all gone. I've forgotten it all.
Well, moving on.
No, my favorite thing about Obi is that he doesn't cost 1 to use.
Yes.
Which is what I was trying to interject. Like, he just taps to use his thing, and that is so
But
big. That is a huge delineator between what is a top tier, or what it helps make a leader much, much better.
Yes, but you have to use the Force, which means you will lose the Force, which means you have to regain it again to use the ability again, right? So the way I believe that works is you use the Force, you lose it, and then you got to regain it to use it again. So I'm sure
it'll just depend on how hard it is to get the Force.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right now, we only
have no idea.
Well, this is it. Right now, we only know of every common base will have the ability to grant you your Force token. And then clearly there are some, that's literally what they said in the stream.
Oh, I didn't see the stream.
Yeah.
The common bases are all 28 health bases that say when you attack with a Force unit, the Force is with you.
Gain the Force.
Gain your Force token.
And then they said the rare bases, you have to think about how that aspect works to gain the Force.
Right. And then
there a hint?
And there are very clearly other cards in the set that just say, you pay a cost, you do a thing, and then you get the Force token. Because, for example, one of the cards they spoiled early on is called Drain Essence, right? It's a blue villain card that basically says you pay 2, you deal 2 damage to unit, and you gain the Force token. It's like an event, right? So I'm sure that that's not going to be the only card in the set that does something like that, where you pay a cost, you play the event, it has an effect, and you get your Force token. So there's going to be there has to be more than one way.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm
Exciting.
sure like my thought is like for vigilance, right? They gave you that hint of how would you gain the force. So in vigilance, I think like if you heal a unit, you gain the
cool.
force or something like that. Could be the rare base.
Yeah.
Aggression is probably like deal damage. Cunning could be like exhaust a unit, gain the force. Command could be give an experience token to a unit, gain the force. So like it'd be interesting what the rare bases do to gain the force, because that's probably going to be the easiest way to generate force tokens.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
At least my theory. Yeah.
So one, what do you guys think about the Grogu the card? And two, what do you think that is? Like the frame that got spoiled is not a typical frame.
I think it's a prestige card.
Do?
The announcement that it was gleaned from indicated that it was a prestige Grogu. Now, that was their choice of words. Is it deliberate? Is it accidental? That's more than we can say, I think, right now.
So I didn't see the context around that maybe it was a prestige card, but I did zoom in and carefully read all the stuff on the bottom, and it does not look like a promo card at all. So that means it would be something that comes in packs. And so I'm guessing, I think it's prestige as well. I'm guessing that this is the treatment they're giving the character prestiges so that it doesn't get confused with the leader showcases.
It's possible.
You're not just getting cards.
Yeah.
Showcase cards as units.
Would make sense.
It looks very like a Pokemon card my nephew would have.
They did say in one of the spoiler articles, one of the early articles talking about all of this, that there was a new art frame in this set that they had not shown us, but it was a thing, like it was coming.
Cool. All right, so what do you think about Grogu?
Oh, I like Grogu. I think that's a freaking cool unit.
It's a pretty
They
good
talked
card.
about how this set the units would be much more powerful. A 3 for a 1/6. Put that with Ray, you could turn that into a 3/9 that
3/8.
heals 3/8 that heals and deals damage. That's pretty nice.
He's heroism only. He's legendary, so he's going to be a
he's
chase
white
card.
too. Okay, that's
Yeah, he's
yellow.
just heroism.
All right.
Yep, just a heroism unit, and he's a legendary. The first time we've seen a legendary without an aspect color attached, like a color, like just a plain heroism or villainy legendary. We've never seen that before.
Yeah. I'm like racking my brain trying to think one, but no, there's not one.
They don't exist. Until
I find him very interesting, but I don't know that he's as powerful as people expect him to be. I think hidden is actually an issue with him. Like hidden is a drawback on him because you kind of want him to get attacked. So like I'm excited about using Chewbacca with him, the blue Chewbacca from the first set. Which would give him Sentinel, which means you could attack him. But if I want you to attack him and then immediately use him on the like my first action is going to be to heal him and move that damage over to you. I think that's an interesting use of hidden to like keep you from being able to murder somebody immediately with this guy.
Well, I like the hidden keyword on him because with 6 health, he's basically unkillable on that turn. Like you're not going to kill him. What kills him?
Right, nothing's going to kill him, even if they attack him immediately.
Yeah.
So,
well,
like,
remember, you can't attack it, but
over.
like I can still open fire him, right? But he survives an open fire and then gets to slide the damage around.
He can
the hidden keyword's pretty dope on that card, I think.
So like
I think it's going to play really well in draft.
Yes, he can be destroyed, right? Like you can hit him with Power of the Dark Side. You can hit him with open fire. You can damage him. You just still cannot attack him with another unit.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can kill him. Just he's so adorable. I don't know.
Well, that's true too.
Like, are you really going to be the guy that like points at Grogu on the other side in any form, points at Baby Yoda and says, "Screw that guy, he dies."
Yeah, I'll kill him if it means I get a victory.
One of the things that I really like about this.
I bet you kick puppies too, don't you?
No, I love puppies. You saw how much I love puppies.
It's true. One of the things I really like about this hidden keyword is that invariably in a lot of games, especially in aggro decks, right? One of the reasons I like Third Sister so much, you find yourself behind. People understand, from a board state position, people understand inherently that one of the ways to handle a control deck is you pause long enough to murder their units and clear them off the board.
An aggro deck.
Huh?
handle an aggro deck.
Yeah,
How you stop an aggro deck is kill your guy.
right.
You take control. So I'm just making sure we're on the same page.
Yeah. But Third Sister, with her ability to exhaust and play another unit, and they can't attack it this round, I think is really interesting because it allows you to, in that mid to late game, as maybe you've lost a little control of the board state a little bit, you're able to maybe force their hand somewhat by playing a unit that can't attack this round. It's like, maybe you play something big. Maybe you play a crate, right? Maybe you play something really ginormous and it's hidden for the
or
round.
Just play something that finishes them off.
That's my point.
Like
and either they have to claim
aggro,
or
you're an aggro and you get them to like 27 or whatever, and they have 3 damage. A lot of times that a control deck will be knocked down to where it has like 2 health left.
Yeah.
And then the other person can't close them out because they just throw something down and it immediately gets murdered.
Exactly.
And so that's to your point. Yes,
exactly.
That's pretty cool.
I love playing. I really love playing Grand Inquisitor yellow right now, but that deck fizzles out where hidden would be a great keyword for me to have.
Okay.
Because a lot of times, like I played Trey, I just couldn't keep a unit on the board past 6 because every time I'd bring it out, he could murder it or he'd find something, right? So if I could play it with hidden, it would give me the chance to then ready it and attack it.
Yeah.
Where it was just I'd put it out, I'd ready it, it died, right?
Yep.
So like it would be nice to be able to get that final swing in. So I'll look at hidden keywords to add into that deck.
Well, also consider Third Sister with ambush units, right? I can play an ambush hidden unit that gets to ambush and cannot be attacked in return for that round. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, lots to like there. Now, what do you guys think about As I Have Foreseen?
We'll see. I don't know. Maybe it might be a Thrawn enabler.
Might be.
It's kind of weird. I don't know. Is it good? Is it good at 3 with Yoda?
You mean if you do like a Yoda yellow?
Just playing it off aspect. So the Yoda that looks at the top cards of your deck.
Yeah.
Can you play this with 3 just to save one? Maybe be another. What is it? The card starts with use something that Yoda uses it with the white version of the card that reveals the top card.
You're our only hope.
Yes, that one.
Yes, that one.
So like this would be a similar card to that, just playing it off aspect with Yoda.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
You'd have to be playing Yoda yellow, otherwise you're paying 5 for it.
Well, yeah, it would have to be Yoda yellow.
Yeah. I don't know. So, I like it in Thrawn. I think to me what it says is that the Emperor in this next set is going to be a yellow villain. One of our yellow villain leaders is going to be the Emperor.
Interesting.
I would love that.
Okay.
I would love that.
He doesn't feel very yellow to me, though. I mean, I can see the guy that flips back and forth doesn't feel very yellow. I guess
it's very cunning.
I'm thinking more. I'm thinking more.
Oh, for sure. In the series,
out like the guys on the Outer Rim and the smugglers and whatnot. He still feels as tricksy as he is. He still feels very very order like
controlling
work within the system.
Fair, but still cunning, right? Still very clearly outmaneuvering everybody. So
my only worry is that how difficult is it going to be to gain the Force again, right? So this card completely relies on
valid question.
Having the Force, right?
Yeah, it's a good
So
point.
like you could have it in your hand. I could play a card that maybe takes away your Force, and if this was your play, then you're kind of
that's
SOL.
another thing, right? We don't know.
I hope they don't have this.
I sort of hope they don't. Well, I don't know.
I mean, it depends on how great some of the Force abilities are.
Agreed. But I honestly...
I mean, again...
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I have no idea. Like, again, we'll find out when we see more cards, but if it's difficult to get the Force, this card will be okay. If it's easy to get this Force, this is the new Triple Dark Raid.
I mean, well, yes and no. Triple Dark Raid said, go look at 7 cards in your deck. This one says, flip over the top, look at the top card and hope it's good.
Anybody who's played Yoda against me knows that I will flip blind and I will gamble.
That's true. That's true. Thrawn definitely likes this card. But
for sure.
But can you take set 1 Thrawn and effectively meld him into a deck that has the ability to gain Force tokens to take advantage of this? We don't know. We don't know if the set to know right now. but I think it's an interesting idea.
Well, if they print some of those like Night Sisters from the Ahsoka show, those would work with Thrawn because he was kind of controlling them. Be interesting to see.
Wouldn't shock me to see that
So-
coming.
I think Enoch is very good.
I like Enoch.
I think you want to be doing different stuff. Like, if you're playing a 3, you want to play a 3 early, and you want to play something big later. And Enoch wants a bunch of stuff to be in the Grumper already
Mm-hmm.
at some point. If I play a 3, I know I would at least want to have 2 guys dead to make him a 3/5. And then it just takes a while to get there. And in the meantime, I can just kill him pretty easily.
And there are tons of troopers.
Hmm.
And there are other trooper buff cards out there too, where like you play a trooper and you get +1/+1. Like there's some other trooper cards out there that are ready. There's gonna be a trooper deck out there.
I keep hoping for one, but I haven't seen one yet.
He is Imperial too, so he would work with Tarkin. Green Tarkin would do pretty well with him.
Yeah.
Maybe. I just don't like the idea. His text of getting +1 for every trooper in the discard pile, I don't think is very strong. I don't think he'll live long enough to be. I think if you play him on 3, he's not going to stick around long enough to get gross. And if you play him later, like at 6 or 7, you want to be playing a 6 or 7 that is just inherently good.
How many 1-cost troopers are out there though? I think there's like 3 or 4.
No, it's a lot more than that now because you've got a lot of the little droids from set 3 are also still troopers as well, right? So
yeah,
and
if you could play a lot of like a low cost deck, play a lot of 1-cost cards, you could have a couple of troopers in your graveyard when you drop him on 3. But like you'd have to build around him, and I don't know if he's a build around card though.
The first thing I think of when I look at this guy is Gideon, right? Gideon was a set 2 leader that I kept wanting to try to make.
Yeah.
I kept wanting to try to make work, but the cards just aren't there to support him. And a deck that really wants to focus around low cost units invariably runs out of cards to play in hand, because by the time you get to the 4, the 5, the 6 resource turn, you're drawing 2, and I did this all the time with Kylo, right? You're drawing 2, you're able to easily play both cards, but then once your opponent curves out ahead of you, they're just murdering everything you play as soon as it hits the board. The only way that deck starts to like be a threat in the late game is if you're able to reach a point where you can draw 4, 5, 6 cards and play maybe say 4 of them like on a turn. Can you do that? I don't know. If you can come up with them, yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, you just saw the light bulb go on about about Gideon. Because I'm sitting here thinking about Gideon Hask, the guy that wants to see things die.
Ooh.
And you're talking about Moff Gideon. And I'm just puzzling. But then all of a sudden my eyebrows shot up. So there was a light bulb that went on my head.
Moff Gideon is based on his ability to buff things is based on the cost of the unit. So like you want to play cheap stuff and then buff it up to make it beefier or keep it on the board, things like academy training or experience tokens or whatever, and then he can still do cool things with it. So Enoch kind of leans into that a little bit, but it's not so simple for everybody because there's a lot of cards out there that just, I don't know, I never could make Gideon work. I tried.
Well, and I've always wanted to play his light cruiser. That's a pretty fun
that's
card.
A great card.
So, I mean, even just to try to put a deck together to try to play that card once would be kind of fun.
Agreed. Agreed.
It's funny because Gideon's starter is so dominant against the Mando starter. And he never saw constructed play. That's so interesting.
One of the few times I've seen Trey very, very upset with starter decks. So upset.
Another Richmond deck we didn't talk about that got some stream time that I think finished in the top 64 and awarded a showcase. I think there was a guy playing Mando Green in the field. And
exciting.
At one point he was like 5-0 or 5-1 or something like this on day 1. So I think it might have been Mando Datavolt. It might have been. I don't remember. But man, it was an interesting deck. He was having a lot of success with it, really taking people by surprise.
Oh my goodness! Speaking of Mando, I went on quite a journey when I was building decks for that tournament. I've got 3 or 4 or 5 other decks on Sweetie B, but I went down this whole journey of I'm building Mandalorian and Rey, and I'm going to use Rey, and I'm going to put these tokens on, and that's going to trigger Mandalorian. And I got the deck built. I spent time on this deck before it clicked, and I went, oh crap. The tokens don't count for Mandalorian.
There's 0 cost
Damn it,
tokens.
I wasted all that time. It was a journey I went down, and I'm very sad about it. Wasted a lot of time.
One of the one of the conversations I've had with players at events, talking about looking back at older leaders. Gar Saxon has made a solid showing in Denver, was a part of the field in Richmond, even though none of them converted to day two. Leaders like Mando and like Gar that are based around, their abilities are based around upgrades. The pilot cards are amazing cards in those decks because they're dual purpose cards, right? I need a unit, great, I play a unit. Oh, I want this as an upgrade to trigger my leader or do something else, or use Gar's text to buff the crap out of a vehicle. Hell yeah, let's play it. And so really, really, really love the piloting mechanic. I really, really want them to keep that in the game. As the game goes forward, man, give us a few pilots every set, for pity's sake. There is no shortage of them in Star Wars.
Well, you've just sealed your fate. You want this to replete.
I know, which means they'll never do it. I know.
With an ability on it, that means they're not going to do it. Thanks. We had them.
You're welcome.
I've wanted new smuggle cards for sets now, and
they've got, man. I know we've hit this before, but like smuggle needs to stay. I haven't even seen Hidden played yet, and I already want it to stay around just because of the tactical challenges and interesting combos it presents on the table. I want to see more.
They did say in the stream that there would be more Hidden cards in further sets.
Good.
They did say that on the stream.
Speaking of bad mechanics, I have exploited more times in the last 2-3 weeks than I have for months.
It's true.
Since it started coming out. With this Count Dooku deck, I'm exploiting the heck out of everything.
I think the new Invincible and the new Invisible Hand really, really jumpstart that Dooku yellow thing in ways that you could not have predicted. And you look back on it and go, why weren't these cards in the Twilight set? And now they're here, and it's like, this is actually a really good deck now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Well, guys, enough Unlimited. What else is going on in your world real briefly here at the end of the show that we could talk about? Ian, what's going on with you? Anything interesting?
No, I'm just going through the stages of depression because my Lakers got bounced from the playoffs.
Womp, womp, womp.
So I'm going through that right now. Other than that, just working really hard, cleaning up my new store.
Okay.
No, they got gentlemen swept right out of that series.
Oh.
They lost 4-1. They won one game. The one game I went to on Tuesday night where I was amped, and then they lost just about every other game. I think
it's your fault for not going to all of them.
I know. They're so far away though.
I didn't even look and see. Mostly I've had my head down trying to get ready for Minneapolis. I did finally get, as we noted earlier in the podcast, I got Ginger to give me the thumbs up after the appropriate amount of groveling, so I will be going to cover the regional in Minneapolis. I've got a little bit of hardware tweaking to do. I'm trying to look into shipping some of the stuff, and since I'm just flying up there by myself, I'm gonna have to ship half of it ahead of me. And trying to get the overlays cleaned up a little bit on the back end. Nothing on the front end is really changing. I'm just trying to improve the functionality of the Stream Deck to make my life easier running a game on camera. And then after that, the next step, I'll finish that up in the next day or so. And then over the next week or two, I'm going to be working with the various other caster stream guys, a lot of the back end folks that have stepped up to help us work on some tools. With API calls, we now have access to the back end of Melee. We can pull data out of a live event, right? Like I should be able to extract a table of the standings in a given round, which is something that apparently the players have a difficult time doing on the front end. And then I can turn that into an OBS screen, and we can talk about that between rounds. One of the things I'm working on is trying to put a little ticker along the bottom of the game window that will rotate through and show you like the top 25, right? It'll just constantly every 8 seconds or so just show you who the next person down, and while the game is playing, you can just, if you want, you can keep up with the standings of the event from the previous round, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to innovate that and improve the viewer experience some. So like I was saying to somebody earlier today in one of the Discord conversations I've been having, like the foundation is all there. I'm just trying to improve the viewer experience. So see what we can innovate.
Will you have anybody I was gonna say, will you have anybody live with you?
Don't know yet. It's a possibility. I'm chasing a couple of different leads that way. So let me get back to you. By the time we do this again in 2 weeks, I'll probably have the answer.
Nice.
Trey, what were you going to say?
You said you're trying to make the viewer experience better, and I was saying because you're so far behind everybody else that
Look, if you're not first, if you're not first, you're last, Ricky Bobby. So I mean, I'll be honest. I want everybody to be able who does this to be able to come up to our level, but I also want to keep the message that I sent in that video a couple weeks ago, talking through my thought process was I want to keep raising the bar, right? If you do something really well and you just stagnate at it, sooner or later everybody catches up to you, and what you're doing doesn't stand out anymore. Whereas if you're constantly pushing yourself to find new and more interesting and better ways to do what you do, then the people who start behind have a hard time, getting to where you are. And I don't even look at it like a competition. I just like knowing that what I do very well, and that there aren't many people out there that can go, oh, I can't look that good. Well, I mean, maybe you can't.
Sound like a capitalist, sir.
I know, right? Who could have predicted it?
Innovating and pushing it forward and winning on merit.
One can try. What about you, Trey? It's May. Don't you have some big graduations coming up this month now?
I do. We'll have a big graduation coming up. So my wife and I many moons ago, we had our kids right back to back, and so we foisted one off on Texas A&M a year ago, and the second one is out the door come the end of May.
Okay.
So she is. We've got it all prepared. Like, I don't know, we're planning her graduation party. She got her announcements in today. We've got to go visit somebody that gave her a scholarship. We got to go meet these people. It's not a big scholarship, but it's money.
Doesn't matter.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah.
Every penny counts.
It does. So
where's she going to school?
So this one is going to SFA, so Stephen F. Austin University, which is what's that all? You got very excited about
Stephen F. has a reputation, my friend. You have to know this.
Really? Well, no, I don't. I don't know anything about SFA.
Oh, is it a good reputation or a bad reputation?
So okay, now maybe things have changed, right? Many moons ago, when I was in college, Stephen F. always had a reputation as a giant party school, right? Like, you always met people who went to Stephen F. You never met anybody who graduated from Stephen F.
I only know people that graduated from SFA.
Okay, it's possible times have changed. It's been a long time since I was in college.
It's a gorgeous school. So there's a couple of people listen to this all over the world. So we're in Texas. There's some big state schools. There's A&M. There's TU. There's Texas Tech. There's whatever. But there's some smaller schools. So some big historical figures in Texas are Stephen F. Austin and Sam Houston are Austin and Houston. Those are some of the biggest figures in Texas history. And so they're both kind of smaller schools. And we are very close to Sam Houston. And they've always kind of lived in the same headspace for me. And my wife got her master's from Sam Houston, and I had been to Sam Houston before, and it's kind of a crap hole. Like, it is the city is not great. You go to the school, it's not really old, it's just not nice.
Okay.
It's a lot of concrete. There's there's a tree. And then it's just kind of a place to go to school, but it's not particularly nice. And so that's always where both of them lived in my head. And then with my first daughter, when we were taking her to several different schools, that we visited SFA, and that was when my youngest daughter saw it, and she was like in love immediately. But you go to SFA, and it is like every college that you've ever seen in a college movie. So you go see a college movie, whatever it's a comedy, usually they're comedies, but it's like some quaint college that's this gorgeous buildings that are set back in a little bit off the road in the woods, and like you go into the main building and it's all this beautiful architecture and this dark wood paneling that's just kept tip top. It is just the most gorgeous campus I've ever been to, and so she's going there, so that's exciting.
Interesting. I'll have to go check it out sometime.
So we're pushing her out the door. It's funny, the instructions on how to get to this place from my house, like and I don't know why I'm telling the internet this, but it's entertaining to me. The instructions on how to get there. It's you leave my house, you go to the freeway, you take a right, you stay on the freeway, and then you turn right into the school.
Yep.
Like it is. I live right
turns.
next to a highway. Yeah, I live right next to a highway, and then that same highway, you just follow it northeast until you get to the school, and then you turn into the school. That tickles me. I don't know why, because I'm kind of a dude.
Stephen F's in Nacogdoches, yes?
Nacogdoches,
That's what I thought. Yeah, okay. Thought so.
So will you be kid-free after this? Just you and the
Yes.
wifey in the house?
Yes.
Oh,
That's the
look
my
out.
wife and I know.
You know what I
What are
just
you gonna
heard?
do?
I just heard Trey say he's going to be playing a whole lot more games. That's what I just heard.
I hear he's doing a whole lot more honeydews. That's what I heard.
Could be. Could be.
No, not so much those. But see, I am going to be. Will probably be playing more games because the wife is a professional woman now. She's a therapist. She sees clients a lot. So I'll have some nights to myself. But it'll be like I'm either with her or I'm playing games. So.
Nice.
I'm actually really looking forward to being without kids. I spent all of my young life. I wanted to be a dad. Like that was all I wanted growing up. I wanted to work in computers, which I do, and I wanted to be a dad and play games, which I also.
Mission accomplished. Okay.
So then I got to be a dad, and it was everything that I thought it would be, and I turned out to be an amazing dad, and then never gave any thought to what was coming afterwards. So now I'm like standing on the precipice. So I think I get to go back to what it was like when I was in college, and I had no responsibilities, and I just got to have fun all the time.
You still have some responsibilities. Some.
I mean, it's a long time before they take your house away for not paying the note.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys. Well, listen. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you. As always, I have to give you the obligatory, throw us a like, subscribe, 5-star, whatever, on whatever platform it is that you listen to us, presuming that you did enjoy the podcast. I know over on YouTube. Go ahead, Trey.
I just, even if you don't do that, because that requires you to click on something, like whoever you play this game with, just talk to them about the podcast.
Also
like,
true.
Yeah.
Also true.
Just if whatever your local is, if you listen to this, talk to them, be like, hey, these dudes don't suck like all the other podcasts, or however you choose to phrase that. To get other, I mean, it'd be cool to have lots of people listen to us.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. And if you happen to be in Minneapolis for the regional, make a plan. Come on up. I'll have the caster booth there at some point. At some point, I will be in the booth, guaranteed. So come on by and say hi, and we'll figure that out. But we'll be back in a couple of weeks with some more coverage. We'll see what FFG does between now and then, and I'm sure we'll come up with something interesting to talk about soon enough.